Resume recording.
Good morning.
Good morning, all. Okay, welcome to the Council of Club meeting for June. I am going to pour a few things here. We are going to get started. Okay. Okay, great. So off we go. Let me share my screen for you all as we call this meeting to order.
Dinara, what's the process of renaming?
Just click, go to the participants tab and yourself should be there, and then you should be able to rename yourself. So if you go to,
okay.
For example,
Thank you.
Yeah, write the ... next to your name in order to rename yourself.
Got it. Okay.
So this is the Council of Clubs meeting for June 14th, 2024. And our agenda this morning is the welcoming of new club presidents and clubs, announcements from elected party officials and party officers, vote on proposed bylaw amendment, pride planning, then talk about the Democratic Club Summit, our planning for upcoming summit in August, upcoming endorsement considerations, and other announcements. So going along, new clubs.
Point of order, ma'am.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm an appointed county official. I sit on the Behavioral Advisory Board for San Diego County, appointed by the nominated and approved by the supervisors. I also sit on the county quality review committee, and I'd like to be privileged to make a comment after the elected officials.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
First up is new clubs and president. So is anyone here representing a new club or a new club president? Anyone here new? Go ahead and raise your hand and we'd like to introduce you. Okay, I hear none, but I do want to point out, Tana. Okay, Tana, would you like to speak?
Hi, yes, good morning all. I need to confirm, but I might be on this committee now representing the Democratic Alliance for Education instead of the Fallbrook Dem Club, since that's who I represent at the North County level. But I was trying to confirm that with Ross Pike, our Fallbrook Dem Club president. So I'm listed as Fallbrook right now, but I might be the Democrats for Alliance rep.
Yeah, the Democrats for Alliance, usually Kate Bishop attends these meetings as the overall, it isn't by region. So it's only one person per club at the Council of Clubs. So I think you're still Fallbrook. So
okay, perfect. Thank you so much for clarifying.
Okay, great. Thanks. So with that in mind, I do want to announce that Ramona is starting up a Democratic Club, and they are having their first meeting this Monday. So yeah, just a shout out to the Ramona for starting their club. It's going to be their formation meeting. I don't know if they got the announcement to this meeting, and now I'm wondering if I should have included them, but they will definitely be included in the next meeting. They are not yet chartered with the party. They are chartering, and their chartering meeting is on Monday. So feel free to reach out to me if you want to be involved with the Ramona Democratic Club. Very excited to have. So, okay. Elected officials and party leader announcements. So Stuart, you had said you had something you would like to announce for giving everybody.
There's no electeds? Thank you.
I don't know. You had asked to go first. So
no, I asked to go last after the electeds.
Oh, last. Okay.
Yeah.
Would anyone like to, any elected officials on the line? I don't see any, but if you represent an elected official, you're welcome to opine. Okay. Hearing none, Stuart, please make your announcement. You have
Thank you for recognizing me, Madam Chairman. I got involved at the county level, I don't know, about a year and a half or 2 years ago. I'd have to look at the calendar. And I represent Tara Lawson-Remmer's District 3 in her district, not just Encinitas. And those of us, there are a lot of us, I think everybody's in San Diego County here. I didn't know all the things that the county is responsible for by far. And I just wanted to raise awareness of that. And I'm not running for office or anything. Feel free to reach out to me because I'm kind of on a crusade. Because I don't think we all know what the county does, because I certainly didn't. So if anybody's interested, please reach out to me. Should I put my number in chat?
Yes, but it only goes to me, unfortunately.
No problem.
Zoom is set up for the party.
Yeah,
I can then copy it off to everyone.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other elected officials or party leader announcements? Now, I want to mention our group is rather small today because today is a Juneteenth celebration in North County. We have a lot of clubs participating there. We're very excited for all you're doing. So, you know, they have our total support in that participation. I believe it's Demco and San Marcos, both of whom are represented on the line. Black African Women Rise Bar, and a number of other clubs. There's 6 in total. So we're excited about this inter club coordination for this important event. So just to let people know, your regional contacts at the California Democratic Party, Region 21, which is basically North County, it's District 71, 74, 75, and 76, is Deborah Cunningham-Skernick. Her contact info is in the chat. Region 22, which is Assembly Districts, again, kind of Central South, is 77, 78, 79, and 80th. That is Michelle Krug. And her phone number is in the chat. She is visually impaired. So she requests that people contact her via phone and not email. So if you need to reach out to the California Democratic Party, that is who to reach out to. Club development, myself, Sonara Velasquez, I'm the director of clubs. Our Metro West representative is Indranil Banerjee. Our North Coastal is Rob Howard. They're both on the line. Hugh Rothman is unavailable for this meeting today, but he is our North Inland representative and attends North Inland. Kira Green is our East County representative. In the South, Christine Antoine, whose name I think I spelled backwards here, was just elected at the South Region Caucus. We're very excited to have her on board. She will be confirmed at the Central Committee meeting this month. So she's not yet confirmed, but she has been recommended, elected, nominated by the South Region Caucus. So she's just pending her confirmation. We also have Justin Domicillo and Deanna Gary, who is on the line today, who are at-large representatives. These are the club development representatives that support you in your region if you're having questions, issues, comments, or need other types of club support. This is who you can reach out to. Okay. The next thing that we have coming up is, hopefully this will be a very quick agenda item. There's a proposed bylaw amendment, and this came from Sarah Ochoa, the former vice chair of the South. So there was an issue that arose in South County, and the issue was that a club had held an endorsement vote, and they had selected a candidate other than the incumbent. There was an incumbent in the race, and they had selected a candidate other than the incumbent. When it came time for the regional caucus, the party staff person looked at the rules, which were not clear on this point, and said, well, your club can't vote because the only 2 options for a friendly incumbent endorsement at the party regional caucus are the incumbent or no endorsement. And since you select your club selected someone else and your club's vote is bound, therefore you cannot vote in that consideration, which to most of us clubs doesn't make sense. There are clubs that hold friendly incumbent endorsements. There are clubs that do all races as open considerations. And I happen to be the president of one club where we do all races as open considerations. And I sit on a board of another club where we do all races as open considerations. The reason we do this is because, well, as a club president, holding multiple votes can be challenging since we only have 1 meeting per month and we're trying to keep ahead of the party calendar. So instead of having an FIE vote first and then possibly rejecting the incumbent and then having to vote again the subsequent month, what we do is we consider all candidates at once. With that in mind, that means if we were to select a candidate other than the incumbent, we assume or had assumed that that would mean at the regional caucus, we would have a right to vote no endorsement for the FIE consideration because clearly we have not selected the incumbent. Now, this determination that was made at the South Region Caucus that the club could not vote was then taken to the admin committee, and the admin committee reversed it and said the club was denied the right to vote improperly, that the club should indeed have had the right to vote. So that is how I would interpret this bylaw, and that is how these bylaws are interpreted at this time. But I wanted to I wanted to make sure this was clarified in the party language, because we've had many cases in the past where how things are interpreted, if they're not spelled out in the bylaws, will change depending on who is the regional caucus chair, depending on who the chair is, depending on who the staff person is. And so I just wanted to make sure this was laid out in the bylaws so that in the future, clubs are not incorrectly disenfranchised when their club has voted for a candidate other than the incumbent. So the language that we have proposed, and this went to Club Dev and it passed unanimously, was in the case of a friendly incumbent endorsement consideration by a regional caucus, if a club has voted to endorse a candidate other than the incumbent, the club's position shall be interpreted as no endorsement for the friendly incumbent consideration by the regional caucus. So I just wanted to take a moment and clarify that. With that in mind, I'm going to open the floor to discussion. If anyone would like to have discussion on this item. So would anyone like to, okay, we have Greg Robinson would like to discuss. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you want to move that as a motion? If so, I'll go ahead and make the motion.
Well, before we make the motion, I would like to get opinions.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just
I guess you can
usually
make the
you
motion
make the motion and then
there's
you
only
have
yes or no.
discussion.
Okay, that is correct, Greg. So go ahead. You're right. Make the motion. Thank you. Please make the
Can
motion.
you tell I actually work as a parliamentarian? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I'll move the amendment.
Okay. Would you like to speak in favor of the amendment that you've moved?
Yeah, I would. But the main thing, I just want to thank you for putting it up there. It was my club that did have this consideration and the problem arise down in South Bay. And in fairness to everybody else in the future, like you said, Sonara, it's really, I mean, I think everyone is clear now, but we don't know what happens in the future. And it's better now. And, you know, ounce of prevention, blah, blah, blah. So let's go ahead and do this. And again, I want to thank you personally for taking the time and the effort to make sure this gets clarified. Thanks.
So I have the
Does
Chula
this need
Vista
a second
representative.
in order to, I'm sorry, does this need a second in order to continue discussion?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Would someone like to second it? I'm sorry. I'm not, my parliamentary procedure brain is off this morning. Would someone like to make a second?
Stewart seconds the motion.
Okay, thank you. And I saw the Poway Club up as well. It appears also for a second. Okay. Would anyone else like to speak in favor or against this motion? Okay, great. Now, the next thing to do is we do need to make sure that people are properly credentialed for the purposes of voting here. So, Amira, you are the Pakistani American Democratic Club?
Iranian American Democrats.
Iranian, I did.
Oh,
Gosh, thank you so much. I'm sorry. My brain is totally off this morning. I need to attend the meeting and beg full forgiveness for every time I've gotten that confused. Okay. Anyone else need to be credentialed for the purposes of voting on this item? Kate, you are in the room, so I'm going to go ahead and you are the Dem Education Alliance. Okay, so do we want this to, does anyone else like to speak on this item? I see two hands raised. Is this to speak on the item?
Madam Chair, we're having people report to me that they can't actually get into the meeting right now. We may want to take a minute and double check to make sure that we have everyone in the meeting, because this is an important issue.
Yes, it is. I don't see anyone who is in the waiting room. Do you see anyone in the waiting room?
I don't, but I'm getting text messages from people saying they can't get in the meeting. Can you send me the link and I'll send it over to them?
Sure, it's the same one I texted to you. It's the same link we have every month.
I apologize. I'm in the car right now, so I'm like trying to do this on my phone.
Yeah. Is people Michelle? Because I've had trouble. I created the secondary link for her and I sent it to her and I don't see her on the meeting yet. And she had a problem getting in the Blue Dream Dem meeting last month. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but
yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's not Michelle. It's someone else.
Okay.
There's something with one of the links. I would suggest going to the meeting ID, copying and pasting, like copying it, opening your Zoom app and then pasting it in the meeting link, the meeting code, instead of just using like the browser web address.
Okay, well, I apologize for any confusion that may have caused. Oh, I see one person's coming in. Okay.
Is that Nicole Crosby?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. So is anyone, are we waiting for anyone else before continuing discussion? Okay, with that in mind. Okay, Kate, I see your hand is raised. You are recognized.
Sure. I was just scanning in support of this bylaw change. It was actually my race that this thing happened in the first place. And so I'm sure that there's probably presumptions that I would be against this, but I actually think it's totally fair that if a club rates another candidate, if they support another candidate, then they're obviously against the FIE. So I thought that was an unfair thing that happened in my race, but I support this change.
Thank you, Kate. That's very gracious of you. Okay, we have George Phillips from the Rancho Santa Fe Democrat.
Yes, I was wondering, this amendment makes mention of a regional caucus. Would that include the Central Committee caucus?
Well, clubs don't vote at a central committee caucus, so a club representative would never, I mean, we're not bound at a central committee caucus because we don't vote at a central committee caucus as a club rep. If you vote at the overall central committee, you're not bound because you're not a club rep, because clubs are only at the regional caucuses.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So this is only relevant to regional caucuses. Okay. Any further discussion on this item? Okay, with that in mind, okay, I think this seems to be hopefully non-controversial. Oh, Richard, your hand is raised. Richard Rand, you're recognized.
I'm sorry. I just felt that we needed to maybe insert a little bit of language in that. So it says, if a club has voted to endorse a candidate other than the incumbent, could we insert something in there, or has voted to take a position of no endorsement? Because it sounds like they have to endorse an individual candidate in order to weigh in as no endorsement at the regional caucus. But what if their actual position is no endorsement?
That's taken care of in the current bylaws, because in the current bylaws, whatever you've voted on as a club is your position. This is a slightly different case, and this was actually what was argued by staff. They said, well, they voted for someone else, therefore they're bound to their vote for someone else, not no endorsement. So I don't think that that amendment is needed.
Okay. It's also my understanding that there's and I thought this was going to be bringing up this particular issue, that some clubs, and maybe particular this thing that happened in the South Bay area caucus, was that clubs are bringing up an individual, a challenger for endorsement, without having an open invitation to all recognized Democratic candidates in that race. Is that correct?
That's been addressed. That was addressed at the last Central Committee meeting. At this point, the rules have been clarified, and all candidates need to be mentioned. All candidates need to be considered is the wording that was added. So all candidates need to be equally invited, equally given an opportunity to speak, and equally considered. So yes.
Great.
Okay. Except in the case of FIE endorsement, there was a exception left in for FIE endorsements. For FIE endorsements for clubs that hold an FIE endorsement, they are allowed to just consider the incumbent. That was a compromise that was necessary in order to move this forward. So, okay. So, Ben?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. This means that the vote can still happen, because the description above says that they were denied the right to vote.
Yes.
And I don't see anything. I guess it's implied by this, that there's no language that says they have a right to vote against the incumbent. So are we good with that? Is it implied clearly enough to everyone else? I guess the vote will determine that, but I mean, that's the intention, right?
Yes, that the club has the right to vote either in an FIE process or not an FIE process. And if they do an open process and they select someone other than the incumbent, they have the right, their representative at the regional caucus has the right to vote against the incumbent in the FIE consideration for the party, which again, it's pretty obvious. It's a given, but in this particular case, it didn't happen. So we're just clarifying it to make sure that this doesn't happen in the future.
Right. So that club,
Okay.
the part that says if a club has voted to endorse a candidate other than the incumbent, that's speaking to the vote at the club level.
That is right.
The implication is that when they get to the committee, or whatever it's called, they have the right to, okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so with that, 3 speakers in favor. We've had 2 points of order, and I'm going to go ahead and call for a vote. This seems pretty non-controversial, so we'll go ahead and we can do it as a show of hands. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, only those who are club presidents may vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Sonora, I can't raise my hand, but I'm voting yes.
Oh, thank you, Mira. Appreciate it.
Sonora, question?
Yes.
Yeah, am I credentialed in
You are.
Michelle's absence?
You are. That is
Thank
correct.
you. Just want to make sure.
Okay, so I'm seeing 17 hands and 1 voice vote. 17 hands and 1 voice vote. One just went down. Does that make it 16, or did someone just lower their hand because I have called the vote to a close? Okay, we're at 17. I'm calling the vote to a close. So we're at 17 plus 1 voice vote. Okay, we're going to clear feedback. Let's go to, how do we clear feedback here? If everyone can put their hands down, that would be
I already
appreciated.
cleared the feedback for you.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. All those opposed, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, that is one of our easiest votes. I'm calling this vote to a close. At the Council of Clubs, it is 18 to 0 in favor of this bylaw amendment. Thank you all. That was appreciated. So the next thing we're going to speak about is San Diego Pride. But before we do that, Rob Howard had brought up that I had mentioned that today is Juneteenth. And it's not only club presidents, any person representing the club that has the right to vote in these considerations. This was a question in the chat. Only club presidents vote? No, it's who's ever representing the club at the meeting today. So there's a number of people we have on the meeting that we appreciate very much who are not club presidents, but they're the representative of their club. So, okay, thank you. With that in mind, I wanted to talk about Pride coordination, but I had earlier in the meeting mentioned that Juneteenth was happening and we're missing a few clubs because 6 clubs are participating in the North County Juneteenth events. Rob Howard, who is a club dev member, had pointed out to me that there's some other Juneteenth events happening today. So before we move into the San Diego Pride Parade coordination and club plans, I want to take a moment to speak about the Juneteenth coordination and club plans. So Rob, if you wouldn't mind, you have the floor to tell us about what other Juneteenth events are happening today and this weekend in San Diego County.
Oh, okay, real quick. I am still looking for 2 other flyers. There's 2 festivals. The one flyer you see right now, that's the North County NAACP. North San Diego County NAACP has their event. It's all day. Actually, they're starting now till about 4:30. In San Diego, there's actually 2. I'm looking for the flyer to get you the details, and I'll send them to you. But it's more of a festival as well. Then tonight, at UDW, United Domestic Workers, there's a Jazz and Jokes concert. Kind of after all the stuff you've done all day, you can come out and see at the UDW Hall. It's a fundraiser between the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists, which is an affinity group of the San Diego Imperial County's Labor Council, and the San Diego Black Firefighters, a group called Brothers United. And what they're doing is they're really focusing two things that they're focusing on is outreach and recruitment around for the fire service, because the number of folks diversity in those fire services is usually low. So they're kind of working together on that, but that's a fundraiser there. But I'll get the other two flyers and I'll get it to you. I know I'm long-winded about it because I hadn't really prepared anything for it. But there's a lot going on this weekend. I'm tired. I'm ready for the weekend to be over.
You're doing great. That Juneteenth celebration is Oceanside is the event that I was mentioning that that 6 clubs are participating in, including Demco, San Marcos, Oceanside Democratic Club, bar, Black
Carlsbad
African.
Dems.
Yeah, Carlsbad Dem. So we're very excited. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for being there. I will be there tonight at the UDW. If anyone would like to join me for jazz and jokes, you know, you can enjoy my company because I think it's great and I want to be a part of it. So we have 2 hands raised, starting with Kate Bishop from the Dem Education Alliance.
I also wear a different hat, and that is the Chula Vista Arts Commission. I'm a commissioner with them. Since we're talking about Juneteenth events, there's a really cool one that's coming up on the 21st from 4:30 to 6:30 at the Otay Ranch Library. Is going to sponsored by San Diego Arts Directory. They're doing a art show with featuring Black artists, and there's free soul food, and it's going to be a great event. And I hope that anyone that is interested in the arts in general that wants to celebrate Black artists with me will join me. I'll put some info in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, yes, please put it in this chat. We have to kind of copy and paste it for you, but if you put it in there, we will copy it over. Okay, and so I see Demco, Stuart, you have your hand raised.
Thank you for calling on me, Madam Chair. I'm wondering, what is the mechanism in place to distribute these flyers, like to a Demco? Because I mean, I may have missed it, but I don't remember seeing the flyer. And I'm wondering if we could put in some mechanism to do that to make sure that all people that publish newsletters gets these, because these are great events. I mean, I knew about Juneteenth, but I'm talking about the Union one. And
yeah, I try to include them where I can in our newsletter. I didn't do a very good job this time, but if
no, excuse me. That's not what I meant.
Specifically, I send it out to the clubs, and then of course we ask the clubs to.
Okay, so Demco did get. I just want to follow through. Okay, no problem.
Okay,
thank
sounds
you.
Good. Okay, wonderful. So again, we're encouraging and grateful for all the clubs that are at events today. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the events coming up next weekend, which is Pride. So we have the Pride Parade. That's usually a big event in San Diego County. We've already had Orgullo Escondido, where the Escondido Young Dems were some of the key organizers of that. And there are other Pride events going on around the county. One event that a lot of clubs like to participate in, however, is our Pride Parade. We have a very large Pride Parade in San Diego, and there are opportunities to participate. So Scott Peters for Congress has invited Democratic volunteers and Democratic clubs to march with them. Shayna, who is our former president of the University City Democratic Club, is organizing that on behalf of Scott Peters. If your club or members of your club would like to march with Scott, you can contact Shayna at scottpeters.com. Also, Democrats for Equality, which is our LGBTQ club. They are, as always, doing amazing Pride events and marching in the parade, and have invited others to march with them as well. So go ahead and contact me if you'd like more information. The RSVP link can be found in our agenda slides, which I believe I forgot to put in the chat, the link to our agenda slides. And also, if you just write clubs@sddemocrats.org, I can get you that information. So with that in mind, would anyone else like to highlight any Pride events or ways to participate in Pride and the Pride Parade that I have not highlighted already? And I'm going to go ahead and put in that in the chat.
I'm in trouble with it. Yeah, okay.
Okay, Stuart, your hand is raised.
Last year I took pictures and I had my Mike Levin shirt on, and I found out the ideal place. I'd like to do that also again. Not that I don't want to march, but I think there was some great pictures last year, and I'd like to do that again. And I caught most. It was the first time I did it, So now I know what to expect. I'm pretty sure I can get all the clubs as they walk by and that kind of stuff. I mean, it was really a great statement to have on file of what the Pride Parade's all about. So,
Wonderful. Well,
does that make
put
sense
you
to
in-
you? Yeah.
Yes, yes. I'll put you in touch with Ryan Trabuco, who's the president of
Yeah, I know,
Demonstrate
right. Yeah.
Equality,
Yeah.
because again, they kind of lead these celebrations, and I'm sure they would
Yeah.
they may be
Oh,
interested in this.
yeah, well, I don't mean to. Last year, I just know where to stand, and
Okay.
yeah, I got enough equipment. I actually look like a photographer. It's not an issue, but you're more than happy to chat with Ryan. I don't think he'd object. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's a
sounds
public
great.
event, so yeah.
So one thing, and I know Richard's on the call, one issue we had last year was that the organizers of the Pride Parade said that only one banners for one organization could be displayed per contingency in the parade. So it made it a little harder for people to participate. I don't know if that's a restriction this year. So Suzanne, your hand is raised and you're recognized.
Yes, there is a Santee Pride Walk on June 22nd, starting at 12 o'clock and going until 4. We would like everybody to be able to come and participate. There will be speeches from 10 o'clock till 12. This is at the I'm afraid I can't remember the exact church it is. It's a Methodist church, and they're very extremely open to helping out, and they're basically putting it together. So it is again on June 22nd.
Wonderful. Would you mind emailing me that? And if you want to put it in the chat, I'll send it to everyone in the chat as well, because
I will
yeah,
send that
Santee is
information to you.
a very important area to have something like Pride. So yes. Okay. So yeah. So Richard, you put something in the chat. I don't know if you want to speak as well, but yeah, we are also, I assume that other Congress members will be marching in Pride, that may also want clubs to accompany them. I don't have that information, so I'm kind of opening that up here. That's why I have this question mark here on the slide. Someone knows, for example, what Sarah Jacobs is doing or what Juan Vargas is doing for Pride. Please let us know, because I suspect that there are more than just the than just Scott Peters from the congressional. And I suspect many of our local electeds may have open calls as well. I just happen to have heard the open call from Scott Peters for Congress that they are marching and want people to assist. So if anyone knows of any other groups that are marching that want to invite others to march with them, please let us know.
Senator, if you find out anything about Sarah Jacobs' activity, please, if you can let me know.
Yes.
I can't stand Scott Peters, but if Sarah is doing anything, I would by all means want to participate.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one to have. So yes, if we could find that out, anyone that has a connection to Sarah Jacobs, that would be wonderful. And I'll let you know if I know him. So Amira. Okay. So on to the next one, which is the next item, which is the Democratic Club Summit. So we are having a Democratic Club Summit on Saturday, August 3rd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. as we did last year at the San Diego City College Math and Social Science Building. So we are planning for that now. This is the second to last Club Dev meeting before that event. So not Club Dev, Council of Club meeting before that event. So I need your help. We need your help to make this a successful event. So this is our initial poster. This is what we're initially doing. Once again, it's going to be open, free admission to all members of all Democratic clubs in San Diego County. We are asking for $50 donations from clubs to support. That donation will get you a table as well at the event. $100 for outside organizations that would like to have a table at the event. $250 sponsorships of the event. That means your club logo will be on our event poster and announced with any announcements. $500 breakfast or lunch sponsorship for the event, and $1,000 for title sponsorship. So we would love for people to participate. We had 2 title sponsors last time. That was great. That helped us raise the money and all the participation from all the clubs to pay for this wonderful event. So Tana, your hand is raised and the floor is yours.
Yes, I hope I don't misspeak, but I believe that Fallbrook Democratic Club is planning on doing the breakfast again this year.
Woohoo, because that was an amazing breakfast. For anyone that was there,
Yes.
it was avocado toast and it was wonderful. And we were so grateful, and that would just be wonderful. So
Yeah, and we've learned from that was our trial first time. We've going to have some process improvements, so it'll be even better this time around.
So have we. I'm glad you said that. There were some things that we learned from our very first Democratic Club Summit. First of all, we will have shade canopies. That's very important. We're going to do more events in the quad so that vendors get more attention and love. And we will have a lunch that is more easily prepared, because that line was ridiculous. So we were going to make this bigger and better. So Amira, I see your hand is raised. The floor is yours.
I like to volunteer for whatever you can help. I can help you with. So count me in. Last year I think I had surgery, so I couldn't join you guys. But this year I'm all available to do whatever you guys need.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yes, we do need volunteers. I didn't get a chance to put up the volunteer form before this meeting, but anybody who wants to volunteer is appreciated. We will both need people at the check-in table, and I need tech help. We did not have adequate tech support this last go round. I am planning on having, 1 or 2 people in every breakout room. We're not going to do quite as many breakouts as we did last time. It was a bit too much. They're going to be a little bit longer, but we do need someone who can be helping us tape and broadcast these workshops as we do them. And we'll be talking a minute about what those workshops will be. So Stuart, I see your hand is raised. Okay, the hand has been lowered. Okay, so
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I thought the event last year was out bloody standing, and no, I mean it. Unfortunately, in the morning I had a conflict with the county thing, but I can't control that. And that was in the afternoon, and I think we're talking about what topics to select. Is one of the things. I don't want to jump. Is this time to suggest some topics?
Not quite.
I'll wait.
We're almost there.
Thank you. I thought it was a great event, and yes, there was a line, and all that. I'm really glad that we're addressing that. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So yes. So the thing we have to do is pay for this. The county party does not pay for this separately. We raise our own funds and pull this off. So if anyone knows of anyone who is able to be a sponsor, lunch, breakfast, general, organizing tables, chartered clubs, every bit counts. We have to raise approximately $4,000 in order to do this event, which is not a huge amount, but I also it's not an amount I want on my credit card. So with that in mind, if anyone knows of someone who would like to put their name on this event, it would be appreciated. Okay, now on to the fun topic, which is what we're actually going to accomplish at the event, what we're going to talk about. So that the subtitle of this event is maximizing our election input, because it is an election year. One thing I want to focus very heavily on is how we can do outreach to swing states. Because as much as I and the rest of you all here are very passionate about local politics, we focus a lot on local politics. I think I do because it's something I feel I have the ability to influence, where the national is just this big nebulous thing happening across the country in Washington. But as we're all seeing, what happens in Washington has very direct effects here and the rest of our nation. So we, not wanting to become Putin's America, not wanting to have Trump in charge again, have him anywhere near a red button, we've got to try to stop Trump from being elected, and we can have an influence. We are not that far from Nevada. We are not that far from Arizona. I went to Arizona myself in 2020, and I went to San Luis, Colorado, and I will tell you, the people there just welcomed me with open arms and said, "We're so glad you're here. We are so honored. You came all the way from California to help us campaign in San Luis, Colorado." They were honored. They were amazed. And guess what? I was the only one. I shouldn't have been the only one. That's less than 4 hours away. So I'd like us to be very organized as clubs in our swing state outreach. So one thing I'm doing this year is I'm inviting the Arizona Democratic Party and Nevada, or at least that's my intent, to come and tell us how we can help them in their very important races, because again, how much did Biden win by in Arizona last time around? It was a very tiny margin. So, we want to help them, and we want to help other states too. So what can you do remotely? Can you do phone banking? Can you do election legal support? I have a friend who's a lawyer that does that every year. For those that can go, there's ballot curing and canvassing in neighboring states. So I want to invite these groups to come and join us. And then also, obviously, the local races are very important. Our school boards. I see a lot of hands raised, and we'll get to that in just a second. So how can we better impact those local races? So we have a lot of topics, and I'm open to any topics anyone wants, but I think you all would like us to really have a big impact this year as we can with affecting our electoral results. So that's one thing to focus on. So with that in mind, I am going to open the floor to what people would like to suggest for panels, for topics and workshops for the summit. The Escondido Democratic Club, Georgine Tomasi, I believe your hand was up first. So if you would like to speak.
I just want to say thank you for doing this, because I think there has to, I love local politics, and that's kind of my concentration. Will remain that way, but to reach out to other states, thank you for, for even bringing people on board here. For the Obama campaign in, when was it, in 2010 or 11, I went to Nevada and did canvassing for several days, and it makes a difference, and they are very appreciative. So thank you for doing this, is what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you. Greg, your hand is raised. You're recognized.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. I think your suggestions are incredibly important. I mean, we've got to stop this election from going the direction it seems to be going right now. I mean, it's close. I would qualify it a little bit. I don't know if you paid attention to the polling on this, but there are 3 crucial states, and I know they're farther away. But basically, if the Democrats can pull in this election, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, Biden wins. And so I know that's harder to get to, it's more expensive, but any kind of donation going into those 3 states has a much bigger clout even than Nevada. I know it's close, but the race there is a little more distant than it is in those 3 other states. I've got a union brother who's out there working in Nevada even as we speak, and he's working for local elections, but it looks more problematic for Biden in Nevada. So any resources we can throw into, again, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, that's going to win it for Biden. So just a qualification, I think what you said is absolutely true. But if you're sending money out, if you can't do anything else, let's make sure it goes to those states. Thanks.
Okay.
And it may be good to get representatives from those state parties, to attend, or from the Biden campaign, at least in those areas to attend, albeit via Zoom, to give us some updates about what we can do to help. So, okay. Kate, your hand is raised. You're recognized.
Thank you. So just as a clarifying question to start, are we getting away completely from local stuff? Because I know you mentioned school boards, and they don't apply. They don't appear anywhere on that list, for example. And I know one of the things that I've been actually doing lately as Demet Alliance president is I've been visiting other clubs and talking to them about adopting districts and trying to support their local school boards. And I would love the opportunity to do that, and to talk about the attacks on school boards, and to encourage clubs to adopt school districts as a workshop. I would love to do that. But if the focus is national, state and national politics, then of course I will back off of that. But if we're still looking to do local stuff as well, I would love to volunteer to do that.
The focus is what we want it to be, and school boards is now on our list of suggested topics, because I think we all think that's very important. So yeah, we have to do it all. We have to do it all.
Right.
Okay, George, your hand is raised. George Phillips.
Yes, one of the things that I've done over the years is participate with an organization called Vote Forward. And they send you a list of more or less dormant, friendly voters in swing states. And you can
Mhm.
send those out at the prescribed time with, it's a form letter that you basically write in your reason for voting. And then you hand address it to these voters. And it seems like it's a good way to reach voters in those crucial swing states.
Okay, wonderful. So I already had on the plan to invite Indivisible, Swing Left. I'm adding Vote Forward to this list
Great.
as groups that we want to invite to table and to do outreach at our event and possibly speak on our panel as well. So great. Okay. And there was another one that's been contacting a lot of our clubs, something 350. I will look it up in a minute. But Rob Howard, your hand is raised and you are recognized.
Yeah, one thing that, first of all, my brother is an entertainer, and he and a bunch of them are incredibly frustrated with one area in particular, and that is messaging. And so I'd like to see us just even talk about simplified messaging. And he gave me a couple of examples. We were talking last night, prepping for the event, and it's just people keep talking about losing democracy. Well, that's great. We understand it because we're in the political space. He said, but what regular people who aren't into the political space what would trigger for them is the talking about losing freedom. It's freedom. Not that it's any better than democracy, but that's for them, their job is to connect with people. And so just talking about how we message to voters and meeting them where they are.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so that's put on as a potential topic. Okay, so up next we have I keep missing Paula McCormick. I keep coming off the bottom of my screen there, but I see you. Paula, your hand was raised. Did you want to
Got
speak?
it. Yes, I had to unmute. First of all, I want to make a comment, which is I have been interested actually since 2016 in national politics more so than local. So I appreciate your saying that because I felt a little bit of a disconnect at times, but I am really jazzed about what we're doing in the next few months. And secondly, in La Jolla, I am planning in our club to host a Vote Forward party because I have found that that is an outstanding way of reaching individuals in swing states at a personal level. And I just think that really makes an impact, and some of their research shows that it has. So I totally support that. And I love this upcoming summit. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So with that in mind, Paula and George, would you mind sending me the contact information for Vote Forward so we can invite them as an organization to come and participate with us? Okay, wonderful. Okay, Tana, your hand is raised.
Yes, I wanted to just piggyback a couple of comments that people have made. Thank you, Kate, for talking about the school board races. There's still people out there who want to run, but don't know exactly how, especially if they're in parts of the area where maybe they're not as active in their local club. So the more information we can get out there, better. The Moms for Liberties, they've got a website and literally they have a step-by-step procedure on how to do it. So we need to make it easier for our candidates. Also, the outreach to other states. I've had club members that have specifically requested to know which swing states matter because they're willing to phone bank or text or email. So I think there definitely is local support in helping those strategic states. The one class or the one session that I suggested was the Project 2025. That's the GOP's version of taking over should they win day one. And it's extremely disturbing in its intent, and it's detailed to policy and a lot of the legal work that's been done behind it. So the more we know about it, again, I think somebody said earlier, our messaging is off. We get caught up, republic, democracy, etc. Again, this is about losing our freedoms, and that's what Project 2025 will do. It will take away everybody's freedoms. The first things they'll do, day one, every federal employee will lose their right to be a federal employee and be fireable day one, and then have GOP plants put in. So I think we need to learn more about it, and we need to not play defense as much, and we need to, as a Democratic Party, be more on the offensive.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, Stuart, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for calling on me. I agree so much with what Rob said in terms of simple messaging. Because in my opinion, and this is anecdotal data, I haven't done a big survey, is that one of the successes of, may I call them deplorables? Because that's what Secretary Clinton called them. Have been successful in is making the message simple so many more people could understand it. I'm not criticizing any messaging because I don't know, I don't know anything about it, but that's my feeling. Yesterday, I happened to be speaking to a person. My technique, I wear my veterans hat, and people say, "Thank you for your service." I said, "If you really want to thank me, vote Democratic," and that starts the conversation, because there's this crazy assumption that all veterans are deplorables, whatever you want to call them. And so what he said to me was really interesting, and I'm hoping this trend. He says, "I'm between a rock and a hard place." He said, "How so?" He says, "Well, I'm going to paraphrase. I support, how is it? I support Israel, and I don't want to get into, I have some, some real concerns about what's going on there in terms of behavior. So I just want to make that really clear. But I don't like Trump." And I said, "It's simple. Let me ask you something. Are you concerned about women's reproductive rights?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Good." And then I asked, and then we kind of ran out of time. I was going to go through the things. What was next? When he came back because he had to go, he was taking care of his dad. He says, "I am most concerned about gun rights." I think that the people across the aisle, whatever you want to call them, have been very successful in painting a picture that we want to take away everybody's guns. Report to every police station, bring your weapons, okay? And I think we need to make stronger the message. No, we're not taking away your guns. We just have a concern about whether or not we really need to have assault rifles in the home. That's all. That message is not getting through, in my opinion. That's all I got at this time. Thank you.
Yeah, and those will all be useful for the talk when we have this panel. Okay, sounds good. So George, your hand is raised. Is that from before, or do you have something further to say, George? Okay, hearing not. George, you're on mute if you're trying to speak. Okay, so Suzanne, your hand is raised.
Yes, just a second. Let me make sure I'm having trouble. Okay, there. Now I've forgotten what I was gonna say. It'll take me half a second. It'll come back. Oh, I needed to talk about an organization that does national phone banking on a weekly basis, and that is Indivisible. And you can you can join for nothing. You can tap into the organization. They do phone banking at your home, or you can generate a phone banking party. And these are national phone banking events. So Indivisible is the name. Go ahead and Google that, and you'll see that the local chapter is quite active.
Yes, I thank you, Suzanne. I spoke to Tama at the Rancho Santa Fe Democratic Club event. They had an How to Impact Elections event, and Tama, who's the local North County chair, was there. They will be hopefully joining us for the summit. I've already invited her, and they're also doing an event shortly that I put in our newsletter, and I'll highlight later, for reproductive rights. It's going to be coming up on June 23rd, I believe. And so we'll speak about that after this, but thank you. We definitely want to include them. Amira, you recognized, your hand is raised.
Thank you. I just have a general question. you suggested that we donate, if we can assist in other way, donate to the 3 estates. Can the money from the club be donated, or does it have to be individual? I know there's a threshold of 500, if it's over, we have to fill out paperwork and stuff. I remember that from last year training. But can the club assist in those donations?
Yeah, there's multiple organizations you can donate to in the States, and each one has its own rules. So if it's an IE, organizations can give. If it's directly to the DNC, the Biden campaign, I have to double check. But I think that's important, understanding, how we can donate and where as clubs is always something that's very useful. So one thing we haven't put on here is club accounting, but accounting for clubs, I think that's something that we all have questions about. So let's put that in there as a possible topic as well for our upcoming club summit. So,
the truth is that our club is dying out, so I like to put the money into very good use, especially for this election. And whatever little we have in there, I want to make sure to maximize on the use of it. And so those 3 states that you guys mentioned, I definitely, I know I'm in love with Sarah Jacobs, so I would probably donate to her. But in general, I want to see how much we can donate and not get in trouble and not have to fill out all those paperwork for $500 or $1,000 stuff that I learned last year.
Yes. Okay.
So help me out with that if you can.
Yes.
Offline.
I don't have the answers at the moment, but we will try to address that. So Ben Swearingen, IB Democratic Club, your hand is raised.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest, when we did the voting on the Club of the Year, I found it really beneficial to hear what other clubs were doing, especially around increasing membership, increasing participation and turnout. I see we have that about youth, but I guess I'm thinking more broadly, just having sort of a club powwow of some sort, just, strategies for building clubs, growing.
Yes. Increasing and retaining club membership. That is definitely something that we need to do.
Yeah, and not just membership, but even other things too, like logistics. Like one thing we struggle with in Imperial Beach Democratic Club a lot is just the venue. Where can we meet? Have enough room for people, have people fed when they come to the meeting. Those kinds of logistics would be really helpful, I think, to share.
Okay, thank you. Okay, meeting logistics, venue, arrangement. Okay, Point Loma Democratic Club, David Fisher, you recognize? You are mute, Dave. Dave, you are still on mute. Are you? Do you mind if I jump ahead to Kate? Will you unmute yourself? We can come back. We can circle back. Okay. So Dave, you are still muted. Do you mind? I'll take Kate and then we'll circle back. You will be next. Okay. So it seems to be okay. So Kate, you may speak.
Thank you. I was just hoping to add to the accounting for club, maybe. It might be in the same thing, but I would love to hear a step-by-step process of how to set up a PAC for a club.
Yes.
That I think that specifically is really important, that a lot of clubs don't know how to do. Like, we have kept away from that because we just don't know what the process is. So I would love that to be part of it.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So that is included in there. Okay, Suzanne?
Yeah. For determining what you can give as a club to as election donations, the best person to talk to is Ryan Hurd, because there are very specific rules that are state rules and that are county rules. And for example, clubs cannot donate money to individual candidates. So you have to be very careful about what you do and how you donate. There are other rules as well that you really need to become versed in before you begin dispersing your funds. That's all.
Okay. And it's not true that clubs can't always donate to candidates. In La Mesa, at least until recently, I don't know if this is the case today, there were unlimited donations to candidates from any entity. So it's very different from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, which is why we have to check. So I'm going to try to circle back to Dave. Dave, you ready?
Right. Thank you. It took me a while to find my mute button. I'm apologetic. I don't use Zoom that much, maybe once, twice a month, and it's a new computer I've got. And anyway, things are hidden from me. I wanted to respond. Somebody said something about veterans hats and so forth, and advertising, and being acknowledged as a Democratic supporting veteran. I have a veterans hat for myself, and it's amazing how many times I get comments in the grocery store, in the aisle, thanking me for my service. And that's not why I wear that hat. I just want people to know that I was in the Air Force, and maybe I would have somebody there that would like to speak about that. In any event, is there any kind of merchandising that goes on at this um, club summit in August? I'm thinking little
There could be.
buttons. Pardon me? I'm
There
thinking like
could be.
little
Well, okay.
merchandise. I'm thinking about a button to go on my hat or on my lapel. Something I can wear anywhere. It'll show me either as a never Trumper or Biden Harris supporter, or just a vote Democratic if you have to. A simple message that might garner a small percentage for whoever is doing the selling.
Yeah.
And keep it affordable, and it's portable. And
yes,
it's not the kind of
we had a group.
It's not the kind of thing you peel off of your car or somebody else can do it for you.
We had a group actually that did merchandising at the last club summit. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough traffic to their area, which is why I want to do more things in the quad, because our vendors really didn't get enough love last time. So learning as we go along. So I'm going to go ahead and call on Chi Wu since he hasn't spoken yet. Chi Wu. The floor is yours.
Turn?
Yes, it is.
Oh, thank you. Couple of things. Let me know how can we help the Dem Club Summit in August. Okay, we will be glad to help. Second thing, our club was a sponsor for the Jazz and Jokes event last night to help raise money for Oceanside Firefighter Union. That was a fun and wonderful event. The third thing is that the Sierra Club, which I am a member, has excellent texting messaging system that allow you to connect with voter in other states. Like last election cycle, I connect voter in Pennsylvania, Florida, without using my own phone number and my name. So we can track how each voter gonna vote. So it's just wonderful program. Thank you.
Hey, yeah, that's a great idea. And I added also as well Planned Parenthood, because both the Sierra Club for Environment and Planned Parenthood for Reproductive Freedom are national organizations that have national outreach. So I think that's a great idea. Okay, Ben, your hand has been up. I don't know if it was up from before or it's
yes,
up
my
again.
bad.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate your participation. Stuart, your hand is up. Is that from before, or do you have an additional comment?
Thank you for calling me, Madam Chairman. Let me respond to the merchandise thing for veteran stuff, because I found it very hard to find the quote right stuff. And so I found a few places, and I'd be happy to share the link with you, David, because I also try to wear my veterans hat, you know, and sometimes I wear veterans era. I'm a non-combat guy, thank God, and but I did serve, and I'm still suffering post-traumatic stress, but that's a whole nother story. So I love that it starts the conversation. They don't expect, thank you for your service. Hey, if you really want to thank me, vote Democratic. And I go, whoa, I got such great reactions. I haven't been beat up yet, and that's okay. I don't care. I'll take them on. And it just really works. The other research I did, I tested this at, it was the Mike Levin debate with what's his name, Marriott. I don't even want to say his name. And I purposely picked out a very patriotic shirt, red, white, and blue stars, and yada yada yada. I mean, and I had my veterans hat on, and it was so interesting how every supporter of, I got to be polite because Mike likes that, the other candidate assumed that I was, you know, for whatever that guy's name was, and said, no, I'm a veteran for Mike Levin. Or and it just, you know, it starts the conversation. Now, we know that 30% of the people, whatever it is, they're not going to change, but it's the undecided. Well, you mean all veterans are not, you know, deplorables? And it worked. It really worked, and it was really something. I purposely did it, and it seemed to work. I mean, it's anecdotal data based on a sample of one event. The hat thing works. I can tell you, I've been doing that for a year or so.
Stuart, you're getting into what is going to be the panel. So
sorry,
I appreciate you and
apologize.
David's enthusiasm.
Okay, topic. Okay, I got. Would you indulge me in just topics?
Sure.
Thank you. Unity. Clubs must work together. Top panel, whatever. The other thing, repeat one of the presentation. There were some presentations last year. We don't have to change a word. Maybe I think it was the fall club that talked about automation, buying the lists, and how they built the membership. Is that right? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure. Anyhow, there was this one presentation. I don't have my. It was just outstanding how they grew the club, and I think just repeating that
I believe
one.
it was Fallbrook. Yeah.
Yeah, just repeat that one. It was great. I learned a lot. We haven't done it all. The topic: how to automate your membership, because I feel, and I know we lose a lot of members because we don't have an automatic way to say, "Hey, did you pay your dues?" Oh, hey, we didn't get your dues. What's going on? And usually from marketing, it takes 3 to 6 touches to get people motivated if they're not. And we don't do that as a region. So we just put in, Demco just put in a membership system, and it's functioning. And it wasn't that painful. So something about that. But the Fallbrook people addressed that, and it was really important. That's all I got.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. We have utilizing technology already as a topic there for club outreach. So I think that would include that. So with that in mind, Amira, your hand is raised. I'm thinking we're going to need to close this pretty soon so that we can start voting.
Sure. What I wanted to ask you, last year I know you had issue with this, and you wanted volunteers to tape the sessions. Are you talking about like using certain technology, or can it be taped with our phones? I mean, I'm not very good at tech, but if you need volunteers in that, I can use my phone and record everything and then post it, send it to you.
Well, we'll see, because I would say no, but I know John Laughlin has got some great tools where he's been using phones to tape the Democratic Women's Club meeting. So we need to figure that out. But yes, we definitely need volunteers. We need volunteers for tech, and also just the sign-in table. I want to recognize, Suzanne Hansen for sitting there in the heat most of the time last Democratic Club Summit. She was a superstar, and she made sure that everybody was there when they came in and knew where to go. And, you know, so we both need the tech and the non-tech roles. So thank you. And thank you for volunteering.
Yeah, and just that you know, we have set up a channel, a YouTube channel for Persian vegans, and we are
Oh,
using our
wow.
phone. And the person who is helping me is my nephew, who is a filmmaker in Iran, and he says the quality is good, and you know, so just trust. Sometimes you have to trust the lowest technology to
Cool.
get things done.
Yeah, my daughter is become quite the video editor with my husband's old phone. It's quite amazing what she's able to edit just using
There
an
you
old
go.
phone.
Yeah,
So
just
yeah.
FYI.
Okay. Okay. Suzanne, your hand is raised. You're recognized.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words. I will be at that front desk again this year, happily, and so you have me as a volunteer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So we've come up with some great ideas for topics. We've talked a lot about swing state outreach. I've left that as a singles topic, even though I've broken out the different types in here, because I don't know if it makes sense to put multiple, but I think if we do swing state outreach, we need to include the farther swing states and the nearer swing states, right? And it may wind up, if it's the real top vote getter, we may break it out into multiple sessions, because I'm just not quite sure how all the different ways we can break out swing state outreach. But again, if people like that a lot, people want to do that a lot, I want to give you the opportunity to have it focused on Nevada, have it focused on Pennsylvania, and make sure we're inviting both the priority swing states and the near swing states to participate, and then inviting people to participate in a way that's from home and on the ground in those swing states. So if it makes sense to everyone, I'm still leaving that as one topic just for the sake of voting. But now we get to have the fun of playing with our ranked choice voting system. So with that in mind, I'd like to open this up for everyone to have to vote, to let us know what topic you think should be first, second, third, etc. And we're only going to be able to accommodate so many topics. So we're going to go down the list, and it's going to be the topic that's most popular, second most popular, etc., etc. So vote for the topics you wish to see at the Democratic Club Summit. Now, voting is not going to be closed on this today. As we've discussed, there's a number of clubs that are not participating with us today because they're at the Juneteenth event. We want to give them an opportunity to vote. They're doing some great work, and that shouldn't be penalized. And also, you know, it's not just going to be club presidents that participate. We want club members to participate. So I will be sending this out to the clubs in our newsletter. It will be an open vote. Anyone who would like to vote in this election is welcome to do so. So yeah, voter registration. Oh, you know what? I do want people to enter a unique name. Can I still do that? Can I still say yes here? Okay. There you go. Okay, great. So I'm asking people to register, but it's not controversial. I don't think that's a problem. And go ahead and cast your vote. The vote is in the chat. We'd love to see what people want to see, because we want to have the best possible program for our summit. So thank you all who are able and willing to do that. Again, the link is in the chat. And as we continue on the meeting, I'm going to give you all the opportunity to vote. And this voting will remain open for at least the next, I would say, week. It is open voting to whom would like to vote. I'm asking people not to vote multiple times. That's why we're having registration. But I do want you all to have the opportunity to vote on this. Okay. So next up, we're going to move on to the very important topic. And again, you can continue voting while I'm talking, of endorsements, endorsement timeline. So endorsements are coming up. This is some of their last endorsements before the November election, because the Democratic Party will be doing their final endorsement votes in August. So if clubs want to have the opportunity to affect those endorsement votes, you will need to vote very soon. So the first one coming up on 6/15, which is today, is the consideration for the friendly incumbent endorsement of Ross Pike for North County Fire Protection District and for Douglas Paulson of Escondido Union School Board. That will be this afternoon at the North Inland Caucus. So anyone from a club who would like to vote, I don't believe either of them have competitors. Your vote is not bound. If you have a club representative in North Inland Caucus that would like to vote for these wonderful candidates, you have the right to do so. So the way it works, for those, to remind everyone, the club representative can vote in any race where there's one candidate, Democratic candidate, that's being considered. Once there are multiple candidates in the race, your club vote is bound. And that means the club will have had to have held a meeting in advance of the caucus in order to vote in that race, which is exactly why we're giving you the timeline now, so that you have time to schedule these meetings. The North Coastal Caucus on June 22nd will be voting for an endorsement recommendation in the San Dieguito Union High School District Area 4 and the Vista School District Area 5. There are no incumbents in that race. I don't know if there are multiple candidates, but this is upcoming. At this point, your club will have had to have voted in this at least 48 hours in advance if it's a competitive race in order to vote. And you will have had to schedule that 2 weeks in advance. So if you have not yet voted on these and there are multiple candidates in the race, it's probably too late. Same goes for the East Area Caucus. We have 4 upcoming endorsement recommendations. Grossmont Union Healthcare District Zone 3. That race is coming before the East County Caucus on the 26th. A vote would have had to have been scheduled already, and it will have to have taken place by the 24th in order for your club to vote in this race. This is a contested, hotly contested election. So if you wish to have a voice in this, please plan on it for June 26th. There's also the Padre Dam Multiple Municipal Water District Division 4. That is also coming up on the 26th in the East Area Caucus. Also in the East Area Caucus, we have the Lemon Grove School Board, a consideration for Jasmine Smith. That's a friendly incumbent endorsement. Then we have the La Mesa City Council recommendation on the 26th as well, and the Grossmont Union High School District Chris Fight FIE endorsement on the 26th. So that is all on the 26th. So to brief your East Area Caucus representative if you are in the East Area. Now, this is important because this one you still have time to schedule a vote. On July 20th, the North Inland Caucus will be voting on endorsement recommendations for the Fallbrook Regional Healthcare District Zone 2, Fallbrook Regional Healthcare District Zone 4, Palomar Healthcare District Zone Division 2, Palomar Healthcare District Division 4, Palomar Healthcare District Division 6, Vallecito Water District Division 4, Escondido High School District Area 4, and Palomar College Division District 2. That will be on July 20th. So if you have a representative in the North Inland Caucus, if you'd like to schedule a vote on these and you haven't done so already, I would recommend you do so now. Okay. Then all remaining seats are going to be voted on in the South area on August 5th. So in the South area, I don't know that there is a lot of seats that are still not yet been voted on. I believe the IB City Council, and Ben, you can correct me on this, the South Area Caucus hasn't yet voted on the IB City Council. Is that correct? Ben, are you still on for?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
Has the South Area yet voted on the Imperial Beach City Council races?
No, we have not.
Okay.
No.
So that's going to be coming up probably August 5th that will be voted on there.
Did we already do Matthew Leba?
I'm sorry. Yes, we have endorsed Matthew. Yes.
The South area has endorsed, not just the club.
Correct.
Okay, good. So there's one, and then there's an open seat, I believe.
Yes, there's another seat that's open.
Okay, great.
We don't
So
have it for yet.
I'm just adding that as something that should be voted on. I want to point out right now, as I'm looking at the word consideration, I didn't write this. I just copied. That is not me who made the spelling error. I am now looking at it and going, oh gosh, I copied and pasted. That's not my error. So I know in the South area, it might be the Imperial Beach. It's also some of the water districts, et cetera, that are going to be voted on August 5th. North Inland Area Caucus, North Coastal will both do their final endorsement consideration on August 17th. The East Area on August 21st and Metro West on August 26th. So at our last meeting, we spoke about what some of those races that are going to be voted on are. I'm going to see if I can remember the link for that, because that was important. Let's take a look. Where was that? Voting information, endorsement process. Come on. feel like this is somewhat hidden. It was in one of my older presentations, we had the link to what the down ticket ballots were. I believe it was the last one. So I'm going to take a moment of privilege and pull that up because I think it is important. These are the races that are still outstanding, for which we are still looking for Democratic candidates, because the filing deadline is in August, and we want you to, here, Roosevelt dinner. Okay, it's down below all that. Looking for this very important link. Okay, maybe it wasn't maybe it was in March. So I want everyone to have this link and know what races are outstanding in your area, because there are fire protection districts, there are water districts, there are things for which we generally don't have.
Sonara, it was the last meeting.
It was the last meeting. Why don't I have
Yeah.
this link? Oh, okay. Dates for November. Okay. I would think I would have put it in here. Let's see. Seeing it in the notes. Okay, well, if someone can find this, that would be appreciated, because we do have a hidden link on the Democratic Party page that shows us what the candidates are and what races still need candidates. So I'm not, here we go. Perhaps it's under candidate resources. Nope, it's not there. It's a little bit of a hidden link. So endorsement process. Party. Okay, I am not seeing this. So Stuart, your hand is raised. You're recognized.
Thank you for calling me, Madam Chairman. I answered that call because I didn't know anything about commissions or whatever. And this is a real problem. It's not an imaginary one. We are so fortunate that we have a Democratic majority on the county, and it's 3 women. It's just wonderful. We have to keep that, but it's a real problem on commissions. I think it was the last commission meeting, a behavioral advisory board meeting, where one of our friends across the aisle made a comment. Well, solution for homeless, why don't we make tents and stuff? And that's not necessarily the right solution. We're looking for real housing. And I think she was from I gotta be polite, Supervisor Desmond's area. I have to confirm that. So this is a real problem, because by statute, in the county, at least by statute, certain things have to be voted by the advisory board. And if we keep the right people on it, we can vote right. And this is true of I'm on the QRC thing. I just got nominated. I just got asked to join that, which has oversight on all things of quality issues. And the deliberations are private, exempt from the Brown Act, not subject to subpoena. So real discussions can be had. And this is a real thing, folks. I think all of us know people from school boards, water districts. Yeah, and it's not an easy thing to be on a school board anymore. And the people that do that are really brave. That's all I got. But I really encourage us to do that and to move ahead.
Okay, so I found it. I found Learn About Running. This is where we have the list of what races, what seats we still need candidates for. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat because it took me a minute to find it. And if anybody knows candidates for this office, and there we go, for these offices. And then also we have someone put in the chat, the candidates that are running. This is important. Here is learning more. Under learning more about running is where you see what offices the party is still recruiting for. So what you want to do is you want to click on those links for North County, East County, and South County to see what seats are still outstanding. Also, someone put in the chat, we have our candidates for November list, which is where you can see what candidates we already have recruited for what seats. So what candidates are running for what seats. That is there. So this is where we're recruiting for still for candidates. So we're going to go to North County first. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Okay. So city officials, still Del Mar, it still says Escondido City Council, still. Poway Union's City Council and San Marcos. If you're aware of someone running for any one of these offices, please let the party know, because it looks like the party still thinks that we don't have a candidate for those offices, and it's getting kind of late in the game. August is the filing deadline. Education boards, still a lot of education boards for which candidates are needed in North Coastal and North Inland. And as always, these special districts, these planning districts. Fallbrook has done, the Democratic Club has done an awesome job trying to recruit for these very important districts, and I would encourage others to do the same. These are often in unincorporated San Diego, by the community planning groups and community service districts in unincorporated, as well as municipal water districts and fire protection districts. So if you're interested in running for office in the future, getting involved in one of these special districts on one of these quote unquote easier elections is a great way to get started and to serve your community. East County, we still have El Cajon City Council District 2, El Cajon City Council District 3, Santee Mayor and Santee City Council District 4. I can't imagine that there aren't people that are already thinking about running. If you're aware of candidates for these offices, again, email clubs@stdemocrats.org. That goes to myself and that goes to Maral, and that can get you started, get those candidates started being plugged in with the party if they're not plugged in already. Education districts, again, still got a list here of school boards around the county for which candidates are still needed. And special districts, a lot as well in East County, a lot of those unincorporated water districts and community planning districts. And then lastly, in South County, we have a much smaller list, but a very real list, still looking for candidates in San Ysidro and South Bay Union, as well as these fire protection districts and the community planning districts. So if anyone, see 3 hands raised. So Kate, I'd like to call on you first, since you, with the Dem Education Alliance, may be aware of some candidates for some of these offices.
This is my opportunity for a shameless plug, actually. Directly after this meeting, we are doing a school board candidate training for the Dem Ed Alliance is doing one of our school board candidate trainings. So if anybody here knows anybody that's even thinking about running for school board, or, down ballot races kind of works for them too, but especially school board, we're doing that directly after this, and I'll share the link in the chat.
Wonderful. And if you're aware, and you may be, of candidates in these races, please let us know. We don't need to have multiple candidates, but we do need to have one. We don't want to split the vote. So please let us know as a party so that the party can coordinate with those candidates as soon as possible, remove them from the list and get them plugged into the party program. For all these races, we really appreciate what you're doing, Kate, with your trainings for school boards. For all races, there are upcoming trainings that the party does, and the party does offer Vote Builder at a very reasonable rate for all candidates. That's your voter system where you can create lists, create walk lists, create phone lists. A lot of candidates don't know about that. So, please, if you're considering being a candidate, click here. And yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for candidates to get resources through the party and to participate in our party training. So Ben, I'm calling on you next.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about the procedure for endorsement. So say South Bay's caucus is on the 5th, I think I saw. They have to give a 45-day notice, right? That an endorsement vote is coming up. Therefore, the clubs would have to give their endorsements ahead of that 45-day. Is that right?
No. That 45-day notice is to let the clubs know we need to schedule an endorsement.
Okay.
So the clubs, that's to tell the clubs, hey, schedule your endorsement because it's coming up soon. So the clubs have to give their members 2 weeks notice before an endorsement vote that we have an endorsement vote coming up. And that endorsement vote has to take place more than 48 hours before the caucus where the person votes. So in total, you need about 16 days worth of planning at a minimum to do an endorsement vote. The party, we've it used to be 30 days. We now ask they give clubs 45 days to make sure that we have time to schedule an endorsement vote before the regional caucus. Because with 30 days before the regional caucus, sometimes clubs didn't even have the opportunity to schedule this vote. So now we've required the county party to make it 45 days so that you have the opportunity to schedule a vote. And I'm just reiterating what's coming up here because I want you to know and have an opportunity as well. We all get overwhelmed with our emails. So that's why I'm highlighting it here as well.
Okay.
So Stuart, you've been waiting a moment.
Thank you for recognizing me, Madam Chair. I forgot to mention where to find the openings for county commissions. It's on the county website. I don't have the exact link. You'll look under commissions, and there's a place where the I think it's the city clerk says, here are the opening commissions, and they're listed by district. You know, like, you know, Tara's 3 and so on and so forth. And Monica's, I think, 4. And I strongly suggest if you happen to be in a Desmond or the other guy, just apply. Maybe it'll work, and it'll be the funniest thing in the Western world. And, you know, go for it because we need people. It could have a real effect. If we don't keep the county, keep our majority, there's a direct impact on all of us. I guarantee it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. No, very important. We actually had a topic of a council of clubs meeting that was boards and commissions a while ago. And I think we need to do that kind of continuously as well. So maybe after the election, that may be one of our first next topics to once again review all those boards and commissions across the county that we can apply for, because oftentimes it is the right wing that applies for those. Because they tend to skew an older population that has more time. So yeah, it's really important we get involved. So Paul, you haven't spoken yet. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I have 2 questions. So you mentioned that we can get vote builder access. So we have vote builder access as a club, but we can't build lists. We can only like look up individual people. When we're recruiting for people to run for seats or when we're recruiting for members, it'd be nice to have a vote builder list. So what is the price range typically for vote builder lists, and how is it? Like if we want to be able to build lists, how's that priced?
It depends. I mean, there was a time when it was just if you needed a specific list for a specific event, and this is true today. It's not just there was a time. If you are looking for a specific list for a specific use, you can petition the county party and say, hey, can we please have this list? If it's a narrow focus list and someone has time to build it for you, oftentimes that would just be free. If you're looking for electoral outreach, list prices are very reasonable. In the primary, I paid $250 for the entire assembly district, all of the phone numbers in the assembly district, all of the emails in the assembly district. So it was a very reasonable price for all of that voter contact information. So it depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, there are resources. You can just buy a list or you can buy access to the system. So what candidates typically do is they buy access to the system for their own campaign. They have their own campaign committee. And in that campaign committee, they can store their voter IDs. They can create lists on the fly. It's extremely affordable, and it gives them, there's a competitive system called PDI. You're going to be paying at least 4 times what you pay for what you can do in Vote Builder and PDI. And many people go with PDI because consultants love it. It's something that's marketed to consultants. And the consultants love it because they don't always work with the San Diego County Democratic Party, which has this Vote Builder program. We have better phone numbers through Vote Builder and better mobile apps through Vote Builder than they do through PDI. So I really encourage candidates to get an account with the county party. And again, if you are doing something for your club and it's a very specific purpose, it's going to be low cost or free for that list. As long as you say, you know, this is very specifically what I need for my purpose. So.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, Greg, your hand is raised.
Yeah, just to add to that, because I do work with PDI a lot. If they're a candidate that's been endorsed by the Labor Council and working through a union, they have access to PDI as well. That would be free as long as you have been endorsed through the Labor Council. But actually, the other thing you can do is to just go to the Register of Voters. I mean, you can ask for that kind of printout. If it's just a general one with phone numbers, that kind of stuff attached. The one to the Register of Voters is like, $50,
Yeah, it's nothing.
$75. That's the cheapest thing you could possibly do and still get access to that kind of information.
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right, Greg. And I was thinking the same thing. You can, for the Registrar of Voters, for $50, really get access to very large data sets. It's not as user friendly. It doesn't have as many phone numbers, but it's still a lot of contact information for a lot of voters in your area. So, if you have someone with some Excel skills, that's an excellent way to do it. Okay, great. So with that in mind, we're coming towards the end of our meeting, I believe. So next on our list, recommend a speaker. Any speakers that someone like to recommend that has recently spoken at your club and you think other clubs should hear from as well? Anyone like to suggest a speaker? Come on, I know we got some great speakers. Well, as soon as I have the contact info.
Sorry, maybe recognized?
Sure.
We can just send that to you via email. I wanted to look at our last 12 speakers or so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. As soon as I have the contact information, which is never easy to track down, or if someone else has the contact info for these swing state operations, please send that over. We want to have that information specific, and we want clubs to be able to invite the Arizona Democratic Party, the Nevada Democratic Party, the DNC to speak at your club as well, because again, we want to get plugged in nationally, and I will be adding those to the speaker list as we get that contact info. David from Point Loma.
Here. Yes, I went to the La Jolla Club. I think it was in April. They had Mike Schaefer from the State Board of Equalization. He gave a talk about his office and what he does and how the Board of Equalization operates. I thought it was I anticipated a rather dry experience, but it was quite engaging. He really engaged the audience, and he had a lot of good audience reaction at the end for discussion. So he's coming to our club, the Point Loma Club, next Sunday to do the same thing over again. I highly recommend Mike for this particular subject, if it's out there for anybody else.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay. So if you'd like to make a suggestion, we have a suggestion form. Any suggestions that are made are then forwarded to our list, and I need to redo this a little bit. This is the list of our speaker recommendations that we put out for clubs. So I'll once again put these two links in the chat, as I always do, of speakers that we have been recommended and speakers that you would like to recommend. So I will once again put this in the chat. Pana, your hand is raised. You're recognized.
Thank you. Yes, just to let the group know, the Fallbrook Democratic Club's largest fundraising event is on Friday, July 12th at the Fallbrook Winery, and Fiona Ma will be our featured guest speaker. So she should be fabulous. If you want to join us, please reach out to myself or Ross for more information.
Thank you very much. You guys get the best speakers. You're so good at that. It's wonderful. So I'm in awe. We are all in awe of the organizational power of the Fallbrook Democratic Club. So, Stuart, your hand is raised.
Madam Chairman. Just as sort of a point of order, before I'm having trouble saving the chat.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's where all the links are, and I just need some assistance after the meeting, and don't close it down because then it goes away. So.
Right. Well, it's because unfortunately the county party has it set up in such a way that you can't save the chat. One thing I'd like to add is that one of our clubs put in the link to the La Mesa Juneteenth in the chat, and it only went to me because, again, we're using the Zoom of the Democratic Party, and they've got some restrictions on it. So La Mesa Juneteenth. Just put in the chat. It is tomorrow, Sunday, from 12 to 4 p.m. in La Mesa. So someone would like to have that. Now I can go ahead and put out, I can send an email to everyone with the links from today's meeting. I will do that after the meeting. People have asked me for that before, and I've probably not done the best job doing it, but I will today. I commit. So there we go. Okay. So La Mesa Juneteenth. Okay, with that, we are on to other announcements like La Mesa Juneteenth. As we speak about La Mesa Juneteenth, there is something that I would like to bring up, which is the reproductive rally that is going to be taking place with the Indivisible. So I'm going to bring that up right now. And while I do that, does anyone else have an announcement they would like to make? Any announcements? Anything coming up? We've heard a lot of great announcements already. Okay, East Lake Bonita Dem Club. Robert, what would you like to announce? Did I not get that in there? Robert, you are on mute.
Okay. The club is looking at doing something for the Lemon Festival in Chula Vista. That would be August 17th. We're looking at getting a table and maybe doing some voter registration and we had an excellent presentation from Bob Waterhouse with the Postal Service and their ongoing struggles with Mr. Lovejoy, who wants to crash the joint, right? So we were thinking of putting something together and as handouts for that, but we originally were thinking about doing voter registration and stuff and wanted to know if there was another club in the South District that would want to go in with us on a table. They're $300 for the day. And it goes from 11 to 5, I believe. 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I wanted to put that out there and, see if another club wants to consider that. And that's all.
Wonderful. Well, that's a great idea. Thank you. Thank you for letting clubs know. And yeah, I can also, if you want to put that information, I can include it in the club newsletter that's coming up as well, because I'm going to have to. I'm realizing I didn't include the reproductive freedom flyer in the newsletter. I thought I had, but I clearly had not. So I'll announce that in a second. But before that, Richard Ram, you have your hand up. You're recognized.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you, Sonara. I think I just have a few announcements for San Diego County Democrats for Environmental Action. We do have a new club president. At our April meeting, we elected Jennifer Mendoza. So she is now in charge of the club. Jennifer is a founding member of our club. Many of you will know her as a council member in Lemon Grove and for her leadership in the Spring Valley Lemon Grove Democratic Club. So we welcome Jennifer to our leadership. Our upcoming meeting will be on the fourth Thursday. That's Thursday, June 27th. We're going to be meeting at Elijah's Restaurant. We're going to start at 6 p.m., but if you want to come earlier, we're going to have the debate on the TV. And in keeping with our support for the plant-based treaty, Elijah's is extending a 20% off discount on the vegetarian menu for our members and guests. Also, this next weekend on Sunday, June 23rd, we're happy to be co-hosting with the San Marcos Democratic Club, a hike and a picnic taking place at Guajome Regional Park. This is in Inland Oceanside. And please RSVP on our Facebook event to let us know you're coming. We're going to gather up at 10 a.m., take some pictures, do the hike, which is a loop trail that goes around the lake and through different various chaparral and woodlands habitats. And then we'll get back. We booked picnic area number 1, which has shade trees and is close to the amenities like the restrooms and the playground. So we have that all day, all the way till sunset. So even if you can't join us for the hike in the morning, we're extending this invitation to all Dems and friends of the clubs. Come out and join us for a nice day at the Guajome Regional Park. That's next Sunday, June 23rd. And also, one more thing, I do see David Fisher on here with Point Lemmon Democrats. We are in talks in planning a joint fundraiser to help Tara Lawson-Remer's reelection campaign. So we'll be making an announcement once we get more of that planned. We'd be happy to see everybody come out and support Tara's race. This is really the most important race happening in this county. We cannot afford to lose this seat on our County Board of Supervisors. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for all that you do. You know, you got some great stuff coming up. You have my congratulations. Carlsbad Democratic Club?
Yes, we are going to host a meet and greet and canvassing event for Carlsbad City Council member Teresa Acosta. So instead of a club meeting, we're going to invite member to meet to help elect Carlsbad City Council member Teresa Acosta. And after meet and greet, we got ask member to canvassing for her. And in August 16, we're going to host a fundraising event for Mike Levin and City Council member Priya and Teresa Acosta and Kevin Shin will be the co-host for the event. I'm aware it's going to cost a lot of money to run the re-election for Mike Levin, so we need all the help we can get to help Mike Levin get re-elected.
Thank you very much. Stuart, Demco?
Thank you for calling on me, Madam Chairman. I wanted to make a comment that we have good news and bad news as Democrats. We've got so many qualified candidates. I mean, all the way up from President Biden down to every water district, whatever you want to call it, down tickets, school boards. And I'm asking for help for a solution. How do we make sure that we kind of get everybody covered, because I really don't want to leave anybody out. And my concern is that certain campaigns draw because it may be federal or it may be city or maybe can't. And then the person running for school board, which is so much more important than it used to be, prevent burning books and all that happy stuff. I don't know how to do that. And I'm wondering if other people can consider how to do that offline or whatever. I don't want to leave any candidate unsupported. You know, like Amber and I think District 4 in Oceanside, and there's so many critical races. We got to keep everything blue. Any ideas? And that is an offline thing.
That's our next meeting, but that'll be a great topic for the Democratic Club Summit. Okay, Rob? Oops, Rob, you're on mute, but the floor is yours.
Right, I was trying to get to it. No, just real quick. The issue for Stuart, just the short answer is this. The clubs have to be activated. They can handle the local actions, local work, because no one else is going to be as focused on a particular city council district, a particular school board district than the local folks. That's why, you know, and I appreciate everything Sonara has been doing to try to ensure that the local clubs are strong, innovative, mobile, working together, because that's how we get the down ballot stuff. The big boys are going to raise the money. The big boys are going to raise, you know, get the big checks and stuff like that. We need to turn out volunteers. And if our local clubs are strong, when I'm walking lit in District 4, I can carry all the other people who are in District 4 lit. I mean, that's how we do it. And you want people to volunteer for what they care about. We can't be everything to everybody. I want to be the one thing for you that you care about, and make sure you are armed and ready with that information. You are armed and ready with the talking points. That's what we have to do. So it sounds simple. It's tough. But that's how we get there.
Okay, thank you all. Okay.
Whoops.
So with that in mind, anything else before we call this meeting to a close and I go about creating some emails based on our chat to share with you all?
Is a motion required to adjourn?
No. No meeting is required to adjourn. I hear someone calling a meeting to order, and I will let you all go.
Thank you for a
guys.
wonderful meeting, everybody.
Agree. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.